So a couple weeks ago, we took a look at one of the largest revolvers out there in the Magnum Research in 4570. So today, I thought we'd take a look at one of the smallest revolvers out there, the North American Arms Pug in 22 Magnum. Welcome to Itty Bitty Wheelgun Wednesday. All right, so obviously that was done with one of our programs. It's designed to draw from concealment and get rounds on target fairly quickly. And we did it at 5 feet and 10 feet for that particular drill. Now that's what this gun is intended for. It's something very close range. You're not gonna want to use this in self-defense purposes at a long distance unless it's absolutely necessary. So if it becomes necessary, I've run the target down to 10 yards. I'm just gonna shoot 5 rounds and just see what kind of placement we get at that kind of distance. So 10 yards, I'm using the Federal Game Shock is what they're. Federal Game Shock, they're a 50 grain 22 mag. And as you can see, we're at 10 yards. There's all 5 rounds. And then you're about a 6 to 8 inch circle. So that's not bad. Not bad for a very small barreled, very light, very concealable revolver. Jeff Cooper is credited as saying the first rule in gunfighting is to have a gun. And I'm sure you've heard it many times before that the best carry gun is the one that you actually carry. That's where the Pug comes in. I've been carrying this as a backup and sometimes a primary for years. All right, I know what you're gonna say. It's a 22 Magnum with a 1 inch barrel. What can you actually do with it? Well, you might be surprised. The ballistics on the 22 Magnum are very similar to a .388 in most regards, and you can achieve decent accuracy with this. As I mentioned before, this one is a 22 Magnum. It's a 5-shot single action revolver just like the big boys, so you're gonna have to pull the hammer back every single time. As I mentioned before, this is a very small revolver and easily fits in the palm of my hand. The overall length of it is only 4.5 inches and it only comes out just a hair over 6 ounces unloaded. So very light, very easy to carry, and very discreet. So what I'm going to show you next is the loading and unloading of the Pug and why I like this particular model over some of the other NAA revolvers. So the tricky part to loading one of the NAA mini revolvers is if you're following basic safety rules, you don't want to put your hand in front of the muzzle for any reason. Well, with the standard models, it's really, really difficult because this little part right here is the release. And as you can see, it's right at the very end of the muzzle. To load or unload this particular revolver, you have to press in, hold with 2 fingers, pull this rod out, pull it back into half cock, rotate your cylinder out. Now, you can use this pin to eject your spent casings, load your revolver back up, place it back into its position, and now we have to take that pin that we took out, place it back in. Again, our hand is now back in front of the muzzle. There's just no way around it. Slide it into position, then push that little pin at the end again to get it to lock into place. Make sure your gun is in a half cock position and you're ready to go. Now that's the standard model. Now with the Pug, you're still getting your hand very close to the muzzle. However, it is easier to keep it underneath. This is much nicer because all you do is pull down and turn and rotate. Now your hand, if you pull this all the way out, your hand is going to go in front of the muzzle. Again, there's just no way to keep from doing that. Try to keep it as low as you can and keep it out of the way. Rotate your cylinder out. Again, use this pin to eject any spent rounds. Reload. Put your cylinder back in. Get it centered. Push the pin back through. But on this one, if you get it in the right position, all you have to do is twist this underneath and it locks itself back into place. It may not look like it on here, but believe me, it is much easier to load and unload this one than it is one of the standards. NAA likes you to put this in a notched position between the 2 rounds. So my problem with this, as I'd mentioned before, is the fact that I have to pull this hammer back. I have to pull on the trigger to get this into position where I can lay it down gently in that notch and get it to lock into place. Now, it's locked into place, but I had to do a couple things there that I'm just not really comfortable with. The way I carry, and the way most of the people I know that have these carry, is to simply pull this back into a half-cock position, which keeps the hammer off of the cylinder or the round, so there's no chance of having an accidental discharge. To me, it just seems safer. I've carried this way for probably 5 years now, and I've never had anything happen. But again, I want to preface this by saying that is my opinion and my opinion only. That's the way I carry it. NAA says to put it on the notch between the two rounds. I'll let you kind of be the judge on what you decide there. There you have it, another installment of the Itty Bitty Wheelgun Wednesday. Thanks for taking a look at the Pug. If you like this video, please like, share, favorite, and subscribe. And again, if you have any other suggestions on what to do, or you live around here and you have a gun and want to schedule something, come in and do a video with us, don't hesitate to give us a shout. Thanks a lot. Bye.